road, hit the gas, going fast. I'ma make the stacks blow, rolling smoke, my nose leaning on the.
What's up, buddy?
What's up, bro?
How you doing, man?
I love hearing that music.
We let it play a little today.
Hey, I got some DoorDash coming, Eli. So
Sweet.
it's about 2 minutes away.
Sweet.
So you got your eye on the door, right?
Let's do it. You got it. Yes, sir. It's always so funny when DoorDash people come in here. It happens almost every week.
Like, hey.
And then they walk into this and they're like, oh, shit.
No,
Like,
come on.
the look
Sit
on their
down.
face.
What's that guy that ran that
Chris
pedophile
Hansen.
show? No.
Come
Sit
here.
down, come here.
We've been waiting for you.
Sit down.
Thomas, is it?
So, let me ask you. DoorDash, huh? So,
That's awesome.
when's that career coming?
That's awesome.
Listen, I can make that fucking joke, by the way, because I did Lyft. I did Uber and Lyft
That's right.
while I was studying
right.
for my real estate license.
That's right.
And dude, I was giving, here's what's fun. Here's what's cool. I'm giving people rides Friday nights, Thursday nights, trying to make a buck while I'm getting licensed. And you try not to say this. You try not to do this, okay?
Okay.
But you still do it. I still did it a couple times. I'd pick people up. Hey, how are you? Hey, get in, cool. And, you ask them how their night was, or they ask you how you are. And like, the famous cliche stripper saying they're just paying for college.
Sure.
Oh, I'm just doing this for tuition. You're like,
Yeah.
You're not even enrolled in school.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Right? Like, and no one gives a fuck. Just strip.
Yeah.
Right? That's why, right? Like, dude, there was a couple of times where I just caught myself talking to him and mentioning that I was getting my real estate license.
Sure.
While I was driving Lyft.
Which is for sure like the male version of being a stripper.
Dude.
For sure.
Listen. No one gives a fuck. And I needed that so bad.
Mhm.
I needed to just not be cared about at all.
Yeah.
And to feel like I'm nobody. Like it was good to feel that. And it just, like, it exposes like, hey man, you're insecure about that right now.
Mm.
So you're mentioning it in hopes of someone giving you some positive reinforcement. And at the end of the day, dude, it doesn't matter. Just do your thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know who you want to be, who you're going to be. Just get after it. You don't got to explain why you're doing Lyft. Who cares?
Yep.
There's plenty of guys I've met doing DoorDash. Sometimes we'll see like some of my cars in the driveway.
Yeah.
I've had a guy show me his car.
Oh, really?
And it's his. And he'll show plenty of pictures where you're like, oh, this dude does have that car.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you like, Uber Eats? Like, oh yeah, I'm retired, man. I just like getting out. And you're like,
Oh, that's cool.
dude's wealthy.
Mhm.
Just like, so you just never know. And people just don't care, but here's what I have done when people say that to me, when I'm in a Lyft or Uber now, I don't want to make them feel like I don't give a fuck. Cause that's not cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it
yeah.
wouldn't be authentic. Cause when they're talking to me, I go, yeah, hey man, that's cool. Hey, check it out. Here's me.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where I was at. And Eli, you've been around when I've shared that with people.
Yep.
I'll share it in a Lyft.
Yep.
Yeah, man, here I am right here.
Mm-hmm.
Here's this video.
Yep.
There's the Lyft sticker on my car.
Yeah.
Hey, man, go crush. I'm excited for you. Like, I like being that because I used to do that stuff, man, when I was rebounding, I guess, whatever you want to call it, like in transition.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I knew, like, getting into it, I was like, I'm not going to be that dude. Brother. I think I did it 2 or 3 times out of hundreds of lifts I gave or whatever.
Yeah.
Like only a couple times, like that's not bad.
Yeah.
But I did it. And listen, dude, every time I did it, it was like, hear that? Yeah. Yeah. Because it's like, they don't care. They don't believe you. And it was like, why am I even saying that? Because like, it doesn't even matter.
Mm-hmm.
Just be who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it may be. But like, this is a funny story for right now because Uber Eats is coming in.
Yep.
But this also gets into our topic for today, guys. We're going to be talking about, and Eli can hear me over there. He's in the background grabbing our chicken and steak. Thanks, Eli. He's a trooper. Getting back into it. The reason I bring that story up is because it does coincide with what we're talking about today. Mm-hmm. We're talking about fear, and more importantly, I guess, or just moreover, we're talking about risk. and people's unwillingness to do so.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like, I'll give you guys some context so you can wrap this around your head and correlate it to your own risk or your own fear and what you're doing as a leader or on the side of risk. So there's been a pattern for probably the past year, maybe year and a half, of Eli and I growing our business. Excuse me. Pretty significant. And the common denominator, so if you're listening to this, someone's singling you out. I might be speaking about you, but there's a pattern here for about a year and a half. So it's nobody specific. Of people joining our brokerage, people getting into real estate, people talking about it, and like they're excited and they want to do it. They want to transfer. They want to come over, or they want to get started. And they're excited about all the tools we have, right? The free online universities, the YouTube courses, the weekly training, everything. But then there's this part of them where like they're coming from a salaried position or some layer of comfort. And through several conversations, right, and them being romanticized versus just cutting to the chase, they want you to take their risk on for them. Right? And it's like, And I struggle with it because initially you want to, like, man, whatever I can do for you. You're a good dude.
Yep.
You're crushing. You're doing some cool things. And initially, like, you want to, right? But the reality is it's like, I remember selling everything off, dude. I remember, and by the way, this is not a soapbox. This is not a brag. This is just, I'm going to talk to you guys about my low points. When I left Fit Republic, you know, like, cool. Yay, you're excited. You're going to be an entrepreneur. Dude, I went broke quick within 30 days, man. Like, we've talked about that story. Like, I had bills. I sold off 2 cars, got rid of my apartment, slept in my buddy's mom's pantry, you know, and like, and here's the thing. I wasn't worried about status. I wasn't worried about title. Like, I'm good to go dark, dude. I'm so good to go dark and start over and sleep on the side of a fucking mountain. I didn't care. And I remember, man, I called a buddy up who was a cop with me. He's still a cop to this day. And I was like, hey, dude, let's meet up. Got a gun. You know, you want to buy it? And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, dude. You want to buy it? He's like, I'll sell a rifle. And he's like, is that the rifle like you were a cop with, right? Because we keep rifles in the trunks and whatnot. I go, yeah. I'm like, yeah, cool. I'm thinking he's asking a question like.
Yeah, you're like, not a big deal. Just yeah.
No, I'm just thinking like, oh, if he knows it's that one, he'll like it because that's a good rifle.
Yep.
He's like, yeah, man, I don't know if I need it, but like there might be some guys on the force that would want, I'll come take a look at it. And he pulls up, bro. We kind of turtle up car to car like cops do, even though I'm not in a cop car, obviously. And he looks at me, dude. He goes, hey. I go, what's up, bro? And he goes, are you okay?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. Like, what do you mean? He's just like, bro, what are you selling your gun for? And I was like, gas money.
No problem.
And he's like, what?
Yep.
Because he's thinking like, you're probably sentimentally partial. And I kept my pistol. I sold my rifle. He's like, man, like, everything's okay. It's going to work out. And I was like, dude, I'm on it, man. I got it. Like, dude, I was on a mission. I needed gas money to get back and forth from the brokerage, you know, and like sold it. I needed gas money. That's what it went for, you know? And I'm sleeping in that fucking pantry. 2 weeks in real estate. We're in our little town home, you know? Kate paid for the first month and I'm selling rifles for gas money and we're pregnant with our son. You know, like, but there was nothing but opportunity in front of me. And I saw it. And I knew the work it was going to take to do it, but I'm leaning in and I'm in it, you know, and like people, I've gotten this question a couple times. People ask, like, one of our agents asked on my Instagram when I said, what are you struggling with? Sometimes I'll put those up. And he said, I'm struggling with if I do everything you say to do, how you guys do it, that real estate will work out for me like it has for you guys. And I said, man, such a great question, such a great, honest thing to say. And look, dude, it might not. You might do everything how we do it, maybe even better. And it might not work out, you know? And like, hey, but I'm glad you brought that up, man, because I didn't know when I started, I didn't know real estate was going to work out. But I knew I would work out.
Yeah.
I knew like getting into real estate, just like getting into anything else. this is going to work, or I'm going to meet someone or something within this that's going to take me in a different direction. That'll then work. Fitness brought me to real estate. How? Well, because I met people through fitness that were in real estate. So that, right, you pivot.
Yep.
And I just, man, like, I'm still in it to this day, but I remember the days of being broke. And I remember, like, how well I slept at night in a pantry. I slept good.
Mm-hmm.
I owned nothing. I had nothing, but, like, I knew what I was doing, man. Mm-hmm. And I knew I had to eliminate overhead, you know, and some people will talk. I've heard some rebuttals from cops before where they're like, well, dude, you know, when you left the police department, you were 30, you had no kids, you know, like, it was possible. Or, you know, now, like, I hear some stuff in real estate like, oh, well, dude, you had a pantry. No, I'm not kidding you. Okay, like, as my leg fucking cramps up on me. You had a pantry to go to, like, dude, I just got these bills, I got this mortgage, and I'm, you know, and stuff like that. And I'm like, where do you live? Talk to me about your house. Dude, there's people that have $300,000 of equity on their home.
Yep, just chilling.
They won't sell their home and live in an apartment.
Or just get a fucking...
They won't sell their home and fucking rent.
Or get a HELOC, put $300,000 in the fucking bank as a savings, right? As a cushion.
There's something about their
so
status, their title, their appearance, or whatever, right? Like, I'm just like, man, you know, and it's interesting, right? Because, like, the fear and the risk of what things are is exactly what forges who you are.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And then you get to a certain level of success and you want to start helping everybody create their future like you've created yours. But then you're like, you start giving them things you didn't have to get to where you are. And that's okay. Right? Like, we've got courses, we've got free training, we've got online universities, we've got weekly training for our agents. Like, these are all tools, right? So it's like, hey, you're going to save 5 years.
Yep. Shorten the time span. They can hopefully shorten the time span.
We got tools that are going to shorten your time span. We've got this that's going to do this for you. The one tool I will not pull out is I will not do it for you, and I will not burden your risk factor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, take away the risk factor.
No, and it's
because that's a risk in and of itself.
Yeah, dude. Well, yeah. Now I'm just eating shit, right? Like, what do you want me to fucking put you on salary so you can go to real estate school?
Yeah, well, and it's a risk for them too because, like you said, they're not gonna have that fucking fuel.
What they don't understand is, like, I won't take that from them, and, like, initially they might think that, like, they're bummed, or they wish I would, or they think it's like an ego thing. It's like, no, man. That's the one thing that's going to fuel you to get it. And that's the one thing that's going to serve you to build who you need to be at the next level. Like,
dude,
you and I are ready for the next level because we're built now.
Mm-hmm.
And then now we're prepared to take on more, right? But, like, who you become along the way, like, there's a reason why process matters, right? Like, you don't drop... You don't put somebody into it like an extraordinary moment and then not have reps prior to and expect them to execute.
The trainer cannot go lift the weights for you.
No, man.
Right.
And, like, everything we've learned along the way from being flat broke and raising our babies while being flat broke and building who we are now, like, it's built us into the person that's understands pivots, understands audibles, you know, knows the direction to move, how to move, when to move, why to move, because we've been paying attention to it through the process, right? So we know how we've got to grow. If you just drop somebody off, right? Like, if you don't teach somebody land navigation, right? And you just drop them off at the top of some fucking mountain, like, brother, they don't know reverse azimuth. They don't know. It's not going to happen, right? Yeah. Like, you can't just drop somebody off at success, right? You can't, man. And, like, but the interesting thing I want to talk about today is, like, and we'll be talking about this at our event, Mindset and Marketing. I want to talk about, like, why people won't, you know?
Well, here's another factor to that. Why aren't people talking about the risk of staying where they're at?
I call that cost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people sometimes will ask me, like, when I'm on a phone call, they ask me the cost of our course, our YouTube course. I say, man, hey, great question. Talk to me about where you're at right now.
Yep.
Talk to me about where you're struggling. Talk to me about what you can't afford. I have them talking about vacations. I have them talking about private school. I have them talking about all these things that they want to accomplish. And I say, great, man. Like we've discovered cost.
Mm-hmm.
The cost of not having it is this. The cost of $2,500 is your potential to make $800,000 plus in your first year doing it like we did,
right,
and 7 figures a year from then on.
Right.
So depending on how you look at cost, if you're going to get stuck behind $2,500 and like look at the other side of the fence of like, what's your cost of not doing something? I just, I don't know. But like I constantly try to discover, right? Like, hey, what made me be okay to sell my cars? My apartment was on the last month, which was great. So I didn't have to break a lease. I was getting, but I got out of it. And like, what made me okay to sleep in a pantry, man? Like, I'm not fixed on status. I'm not fixed on title, you know, like part of the Marine Corps, part of, you know, like what Navy SEALs talk about and stuff is like, we're going to break you down. You're going to have nothing left but this disciplined individual that understands and knows how to go make something of themselves. So if a decade later you have nothing but you, well, that's all you need. Right? Like there's been studies, man, on people that have won the lottery and lost it all. None of them have ever gotten it back.
No, and a lot of
0%.
them, a lot of them go into a worse spot.
They go into bankruptcy.
Before. Yeah.
So that I should cite it. So forgive me, but there was a study I was reading about people who had won the lottery and then filed for bankruptcy. Right? 0% of people that have won the lottery and been in the millions, lost it all, filed for bankruptcy. None of them have bounced back. And made it.
They had no skills.
0%.
Yeah. Unless they won the lottery again.
Business owners, entrepreneurs that have been millionaires who filed for bankruptcy. It's like well over 80 or 85% of them became millionaires again.
Yep, because they got the skills.
But you get the skills, though, by taking the risk and leaning into your fear and becoming the vehicle,
Absolutely.
right? The person that you need to be in order to be that skill set, right? Like,
absolutely.
And I just, man, I get so wrapped up in like the social study of people not wanting to lean into that, you know. And we had a great conversation with some guys not too long ago, some partners, and I politely made this comment. It was very productive, very polite, but we were asking them their breakdown. Hey, do you guys do stuff like me and Eli? Me and Eli are 50-50, man, on everything that we do, right? Minus coaching. You do include yourself with some of that. The majority of it's me, and you're just like, yeah, dude, do your thing. Half of me doesn't think you want to be involved in it anyway, right? Like, you got more important shit going on. But everything else in business, man, like we're 50-50, and we're asking them, and they're not, and that's okay. And we asked them if they were willing to. And hey, this one guy that's got to cover some salary as he closes the gap and comes over, like, is there a way? It's like, and there was reluctancy. And then I politely just told that partner of that guy, like, hey, man, if you're not willing to put any skin in the game for your own partner, why would I?
Yeah. Great example.
Why would I?
Yeah.
Like, why do you want me to shoulder his burden, but you don't? There's this, and it's like, it's a great question. Is it coming from a place of entitlement of you guys think you're such a big opportunity for us that we should? I don't know. Because I'm going to tell you this, man. I've told it to other people that have not panned out, that thought they were an extraordinary value add. And maybe they are, but they didn't put the work in. So it doesn't matter what you're capable of. It's what you're willing to do, right? Mike Tomlin talks about that, head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Doesn't give a fuck about your potential and your talents, what you're willing to do in order to expose that, right? And we've had that. And like people, it's like, you know, they want you to like bet on them, or it's like, listen, man, I do this for a living. So if you're telling me that I'm the risk for you because, you know, oh, we're getting into this and, you know, you guys are doing a lot for us, et cetera, but it's like, yeah, man, there's a little risk, but dude, there's a body of work you and I have. We do this for a living, dude. You're jumping into this. You might not like it in 60 days. Yep. You might not like it in 90 days. Yep. You might not be good at it. You might not have the intestinal fortitude for that. And guess what? A lot of them haven't. And this is why I'm not throwing fucking money at you. Like, you could be a great opportunity, but we still have to build you. And we still have to build everything for you. So it's like, and do you see it time and time again from Heisman Trophy winners, best quarterback in college football, flat on their face in the NFL. Like, you just don't know where their capacity's at.
Yep.
You just don't know what that's going to look like. And this is why you see more guys get traded that have produced a body of work, and they'd rather go after a certain veteran quarterback while they can get their hands on a rookie coming through the draft that can then be behind somebody. Look at the Green Bay Packers. You had Brett Favre. You get Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers sits behind Brett Favre for 4 years.
Yep.
Right? Then Aaron Rodgers is a starter. He's a stud. Then you got Jordan Love. Then Jordan Love studied behind Aaron Rodgers for 3 or 4 years. And he's solid right now. His first year, with the lack of players they had, like, they made it to the playoffs. He's got a great ball. He throws great. Still a lot of growing to do, but arguably a better first season than John Elway or Brett Favre or fucking Aaron Rodgers, right? Like, so it's like, I don't know. It's just, right? But, like, what I'm really trying to dive into and what I want, like, our listeners to think about is, like, what's your hang up? You know, like, you know, Justin Martin, right? I remember when I was first starting real estate, buddy, Justin saw me mess around his website. So he calls me. Some number, I don't know. I was like, oh, he's like, hey. Just calling. I was like, oh, Justin. I was like, you own iHomes, right? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, you fucking call me? Dude, it was like 9:30 at night.
Was it?
And they were going.
You had just submitted a lead or something, like, as
I am a lead, I guess, because I'm on his website as an agent.
Yeah.
So he knew I was a realtor.
Yeah.
We get to talking. He's like, oh, dude, I know Fit Republic. Yeah, I've seen you around, because Justin came from the fitness world, right?
So this was the first call you guys
call
ever had. Okay.
you've ever had, right? And he's like, oh, dude, I know you. Like, yeah, because I've seen Fit Republic around.
Yeah.
You know, and Justin was at 24 Hour Fitness for a while. So mutual friends or acquaintances or whatnot, and cool. And this is the first brokerage I was ever at, right? So I go in and, dude, I was talking to him this morning about this. I go in and I'm a little nervous because it's like, man, we just got to our little townhome that Kate paid the first month rent on. Haven't made a buck driving this car around that my mom signed for. And when I went in, I was like, hey, man, I got introduced to you through a buddy who worked here. And that buddy had been on a salaried position with Justin.
Yep.
Because Justin knew him from 24 Hour Fitness, and, you know, Justin brought a couple guys over for leadership, put them on salary, and it just did not work out. It's like, it's not the same thing we're talking about today is what he was figuring out 7 years ago.
Yep.
He's already figured it out. But I said, man, I'm not necessarily asking for that, but you know, like, I just don't know if I need like a little cushion just to buy myself a little time to just, you know, get going. And he's like, well, you know, like, here's my thoughts on it. Here's what I've discovered, you know? And he's like, but listen, man, I know you're a different guy. I've seen you build it. And he's like, look, and I'm giving a cut to the brokerage, right? He's a brokerage owner.
Sure.
And he said, I'll tell you what, if you need a little, I'll give you half up front once you get something under contract. So if you can get a house under contract,
okay,
let's say it's a $10,000 commission, and you know, you got to pay the brokerage or whatever. So but let's say your commission is going to be 10 grand. Okay. I'll give you $5,000 up front and float you. So it's still my money, but he's just going to pay it to me because it takes 30 days to close on a home. Right.
Yep.
And he says, hey, I'll float it. So it's your own money, but I'll float it once it goes under contract. And, I'm like, all right, yeah, you know, and I'm going to articulate this in a humble way, but also just remembering like who the fuck I'm trying to be and what I want to be. And so when I'm starting real estate, right, like I'm new. So Justin's a boss. And so there's some hierarchy there, which is fine.
Yeah.
But as men, no, I've been through the Marine Corps. I've been through police work. Like, no, I'm an experienced adult male.
Yep.
I don't see you as bigger than me. And dude, this is just personal. So it's preference, I guess, right? So there's no wrong answer here. I'm just going to give you my answer. I didn't like how I felt even asking for that.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. And as I was walking out, it started to sink in. And my brain started to just kind of reflect on it. And it's like, Will, what are you even asking for here? Like, take the money out of it. What are you asking for? And I'm like, and I knew risk. I knew earning stuff. I knew the fear. I knew the tool that is.
Yep.
And it's like, and like on the way home, I'm sitting in the parking lot. I went and saw him in the evening, like 7:30, dude. I'm sitting in the parking lot by myself that evening in the car my mom signed for. And I just retracted it. And I said, hey, man, appreciate our conversation. This is where I'm going to be. But disregard. And, dude, I just went and put the fucking work in. Got my first home under contract within 2 weeks.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
You remember Lori Lee?
Yep.
And closed on it. That was the first of 34 deals my first year, like, but it was like that self-talk, dude. We let ourselves off, and I'm not immune to it. We let ourselves off the hook so many times, bro. And like, even though he was offering it, and like, hey, that's cool, but I didn't even like how vulnerable I felt asking for it.
Yep.
I also don't want to abuse asking for something, right? Like if I ask you, Eli, for money or for something, or if I ask Tosh for a favor or for money or something, like I need to exhaust every ounce of my fucking being. Yep. And then if you need help in life, that's okay. That sleeping in a pantry and not having to pay rent was help.
Yep. Right?
That was one of my best friend's moms. She was also a cop, or I was a cop. And like that was help. And I didn't have another tool. That was help. But if somebody gives you money, like these things are okay in life. But at what point, is it something that's dire, or something that is really just going to feed some comfort to you? And it's the very fuel you need to stay vigilant and sharp through your own process. And guess what? On the other side of that, once you start making the money and getting back on top in your new gig, nobody fucking gave you a thing. You earned it. And on the inside, you just haven't done everything you've done. And from my experience, man, people that have wanted that, dude, like they didn't put the work in. And there's a couple people these past 6 months, past 12 months. It's not anybody individual, but there's a handful of folks that Eli, you and I have come across. Great folks. They didn't do the work. And it proved that point, and it's like, hey, that's why we don't just go giving money to somebody, man. Like, because now that's money that's not coming back. What's the contract on that? So subjective, like, yeah. And I'm not in it for that. I don't want I risk my own, right? Like if we walk away from something, you can have anything we've given you. Yep. I don't need it back. That's not how this works. Like I'm not spending time and energy trying to get something like that back. I'm just moving on, and I'll shoulder my own loss. I'll stomach it, have it, charity. But it's just like, man, like people are literally handing over their fuel tank.
So what you did there, to dissect it a little bit, like your thought process that you just walked us through with, asking Justin for the thing, but then you went back and you reflected, taking the money out of it, and you went back and reflected on things that you had done in the past, right? In terms of successes that you'd proven to yourself that, hey, you're not this person. You are capable.
I had come to a point in the car when I texted Justin back and said, hey, dude, disregard. I come to a point knowing myself enough to know. I'm not saying that I might not need it.
Right.
I don't know. But what I was saying is I haven't exerted myself in all aspects to be accurate in asking for a favor. If I'm going to ask for help or ask for a favor, like you should use your timeouts in the fourth quarter fucking wisely, right?
Yeah.
Don't just go asking for favors, man. You only get so many.
Yeah.
And I just knew, like, man, hey, we have a home. We're good there. I got, I had a rebate from the car, and I had, some money from selling that gun for gas money. And it's like, okay, if I spend no money, because I think I had like $1,100 from selling that gun, that rifle. And I had a rebate from the car. I probably had $2,000 in the bank. So if I spend no money at all, I'm okay on gas money for a couple months. And we drive a lot in real estate. Don't think you won't blow fucking $2,000 on gas. And I was driving everywhere at that point, right? But the point is, it's like, man, I'm a little stressed, but it's like, no, man, like, but you have time. You have time to put yourself productively into this pressure and just, dude, this is an opportunity to test yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I get my first deal under contract in 2 weeks. That closes in 30 days.
Yep.
So that's a total of 6 weeks from starting. That was my first closing. It was, I think I made like 8 or 10 grand on it. I think the house was like 450.
How nice is getting that check though? Just that little bit of like, oh fuck. Okay, I proved it. Just
if
that
we were
one.
comparing this to touch butt, jiu-jitsu,
one.
sorry. I get mixed up what you call it. If we were comparing this to jiu-jitsu, you ever been grappling a guy that's just big and strong and you're able to create a little bit of space between his body and yours just so you can breathe?
Yep.
Just to catch your breath. Like, you're not winning. You're not on top yet. You literally snuck a hand in and shifted from one side, like from flat to side.
Yep.
Just so you can breathe a little.
Yep.
That's what it was.
Yep.
I was able to just go, okay, I'm good. And we didn't have a lot of bills back then.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I'm like looking at that like, fuck taxes, fuck everything. If this 10 grand, this will last me a year.
That's what
if
it
I
is,
needed
dude.
to.
It's that comfort in that, and that's the best jiu-jitsu players.
I just need to, but like this is what people are. Everyone sees like a bigger picture. They're so focused on winning the match. No, in that moment that you're in, you just need to catch just create some space so you can put some air in your fucking lungs.
And reflect back on times when you've overcome situations like that, where it's like, you don't even need this win. You just need to breathe. And like for us, man, that's where I think we do extremely fucking well. And dude, I've been in situations frequently where like the account is overdrawn and we come in to like something that, man, could be good for the business.
Yeah.
And then it's at running the risk of like, okay, there's the risk of staying where I'm at, overdrawn bank account, can't fucking pay bills, fucked, right?
Yeah.
And then the risk
you're already fucked, so you might as well like.
And then the risk of going $3,000 more in debt, but then the potential upside over here. Run that cost analysis, and it's, man, to people like us, to you and I, it's easy decisions.
You just can't let lack of money or your immediate circumstance cloud your judgment for something that's in front of you that could be the opportunity.
Because there's real risk staying where you're at. If you've got 100%. A cush corporate job and you're making $300,000 a year, you may think that that's safe. Look back at COVID. The second they decide that it's not in benefit of them to have you anymore, you're fucking out of there, dude.
100%.
It's like, so risky.
And I feel it's like, well, hey, Will or Eli, how did you build a person that could believe in yourself that way? You know what I mean? Like, hey, how did you guys withstand certain things, et cetera, et cetera? It's like, man, I've been reflecting on some of that. Cause like, what about people that have never been in those situations? Right. Mm-hmm. Well, that was the Marine Corps for me. So my answer to that would be the people and circle you put yourself in, right? Cause like when I was going through boot camp, dude, they even just at basic level boot camp, I know special operations and stuff. It's so romantic to talk about, but I don't want to disregard the opportunity and power that just boot camp for the Marine Corps can be for somebody. Cause it was for me. And being a part of the infantry community, it was for me. They're going to bring you past your own mental breaking point, right? But they're there to rebuild you, so if you've never really been in those circumstances where you can self-induce it, and maybe getting into entrepreneurship or getting into real estate, it's like your first time exposing yourself to like real risk and, having to stomach things, you got to get around the right people in the right circle. Mm-hmm. You have to, because those are going to be the guys that are like, hey, I've been there and I've done that. Here's how you navigate it. And I'm not going to do it for you, but here's how you got to navigate it. And here's how you got to get through it. And this is what you do. Yeah. Like that's step one. And as you have people help you and you listen to it, like I was talking to a guy that I coach, I think it was last night, and he hasn't been doing some things I've been asking him to do. Mm-hmm. One simple one is specific posts and just different stuff on his Instagram of sharing a story, and I said, hey man, what you're going through right now and how well you're doing it and how well you're navigating it. And I've been in his corner coaching him for these past couple months. He's doing well. I'm like, brother, you need to share this story and document who you are, because this is permission for the next guy going through it. You know, and you got to document your journey, man. You can't wait till you win. And then you try to go back and tell everybody how you did. Just show it. You have the opportunity to show it. It's so powerful. And if you go to mine, yeah, man, I'm fucking in a pantry driving Lyft on my Instagram. It's still on there. And yeah, cool. No, hey, I get it. And then he's going to this real estate thing and sent me the video. Didn't post it. I said, hey, man, I've said it. You got to do it, you know. And
send it to you for what? What was he sending it to you for? Like
for me,
review or just?
Yeah, just for me to see what he's up to.
Yeah,
but he didn't share it on a story, you know. And so I sent him a post. I sent him a Facebook post. I said, see this post? This post got me 4 off-market homes. Mm-hmm. Do you know why realtors send me their off-market homes versus wholesalers or somebody else? Because they've seen me documenting who I am and what I'm up to for years. And they know, like, and trust who I am as a person. I'm consistent on my social enough to where I'm top of mind and I'm relevant. They trust me with their business, and I'm not here to just fuck them over. And they send it to me. And I said, that's going to be you one day. But right now, we're just at a place of just getting you to share and document what you're doing. You're not asking for off-market properties. You're not asking for ugly homes. You're not you're not doing all these things, but like, it doesn't start there. Yeah. My shit started, hey guys, happy Friday. Hey, don't be romantic how you make your money. Do what you have to do in order to do what you want to do, right? Like, I'm just sharing what I'm doing, and I'm giving permission people to do it themselves, but I'm also I want people to know who I am, right? I'm explaining all of this. He's like, oh yeah, I know, man. I get that. And I said, hey, cool, man. But I'm your coach, right? At some point, man, you got to get to where I don't need to explain this bigger fucking picture to you and how all of this works in order to justify you doing it or not.
Yeah.
I need you to run the fucking play.
Yeah. Trust the process.
Run the fucking play. Like, I don't need to keep explaining this, you know? Yeah. Like, it's that, man. It's like people get so hung up, but you got to get around the right people. But what I'm getting back to, though, is like when you are around the right people and the right circle that can help you through something like this, you got to run your play. Mm-hmm. You're not going to give value to the people helping you.
Yep.
And I've been there before. Like, man, like I want to give them something in return. I'm so thankful for the help. Sometimes the only thing you can give somebody in return is just showing them that you're taking action on what they
doing. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, because like, look, I don't need a deal. I don't need no, just fucking, hey man, just do what I'm coaching you to do. That's enough.
Yep.
Right? Like, you showing me that I'm not wasting my time opening my mouth to you is enough, right? Mm-hmm. Like, cool, but it's so important that you got to run the play, man, because a lot of people get themselves, you know, around the right people. I'll read you guys a couple text messages. I'm not mentioning names, and I love these guys, right? So it's no bash, but I'll read another one. Yeah, this is another guy that I coach, and, you know, really good dude, man, and he takes well to it, and he's doing well, and he's growing, but he's got a lot of growing to do. See if I can find it without taking too much time, and I can't. Here's the synopsis of it. I was checking him again on just some details and just things he's not paying attention to that I've already spoken about. And so I'm kind of like, not cussing him out. I'm just ripping, you know, but like, man, dude, like when you guys coach with me, I'm dotting I's and crossing T's, man. Yep. Like we're diving in and we're doing a great job at it. There's a standard. And as I'm kind of checking him on it through text message, he's like, no, man, you know, just so you know, I'm taking this in all well. You know, and like, I know this comes from a good place, and it's, you know, it's the ass kicking I need, and it's motivating. And my response was like, hey buddy, I don't give a fuck.
Yep. I don't give a fuck how you're taking it.
I don't care how you're fucking taking it. What you don't realize is I'm about to refund you. Like, oh, you're with me for 6 months?
Yeah.
All right, you got 2 months left. I'm literally counting fucking dollars in my head, running the math, and Eli will attest to this. I've given people their fucking money back. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All I'm doing is counting dollars in my fucking head. I got 2 months left with this guy. What's that dollar?
Yep.
Because you know what I'm going to do? And it's not just about money. Don't get weird. But here's what I'm doing. I'm running a time cost analysis of your pattern of behavior and what I've had to do or remind you or recharge you again or check dumb shit. It's like, man, you're too casual. Mm-hmm. You can feel it in me right now. I'm already elevated just talking about it. You're too fucking casual. And I'm having to say too many fucking things too many fucking times. But hey, you're taking it well. No. You need to take fucking action. I better never open my fucking mouth about this again. And if you had any sense, you'd realize, man, if you're appreciative of the circle that you're in, you fucking work your ass off and do everything. And I'm telling him this, like not how I'm talking right now. But I'm telling him, I told him, dude, I don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you too many fucking things, too many fucking times. You need to get down and get your fucking head straight. I don't care if you had to wear a fucking quarterback wristband with the top 5 mental plays you need a day. Do it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you need to do. And I sent him some screenshots of text messages between me and Tosh.
Mm.
I said, read mine. They're in the blue. What do you notice about them? Right? And I said, words are capitalized and need to be capitalized. Punctuations are where punctuations need to be. Periods are where periods need to be. You know what that says, man? That says when I'm taking somebody's time that I look up to, I'm showing through demonstration it's thought out and it's articulated appropriately so I can do the best that I can to articulate what I'm asking. So when he reads this, it takes him the minimal amount of time to be able to understand what I'm asking, and he can see the care behind it on just a minute level of just grammatically writing a fucking paragraph appropriately.
Yep.
Right? Like the person I'm talking about, I love him, but he had to edit it 3-4 fucking times. Cause the first time he wrote, I'm like, brother, I kind of see what you're getting at, but I'm not making sense of this part. What does this mean?
Yep. Taking more time.
Then he edits it. He's like, I edited it. And it's still, and I'm like, now I'm cussing you out. Cause I've had to read it 3 fucking times.
Yep.
And it's like, brother, you're asking for help on something that's going to make you $200,000+ fucking dollars. And you're not ready for it. I'm ready for it because I've done these things. And I know the area guides. I know the landing pages. I know everything that you're going to have to do for this. You can't even just sit down and pause and write me a proper fucking text. Because, dude, you're asking me about developers and you're asking me about something big, right? So it's like, you have to explain it. This is not like a, what's up, bro? How's the weekend, playa?
Yeah, yeah.
It ain't that. Like, you're asking me a real question, like, brother. And he's like, no, man, I get it, dude. Like, I get so excited. I text it and it's like, brother, if you can't pay attention to details here, you're going to miss details speaking appropriately and creating things that are professional and that are nip tuck, for this opportunity. And I tell people all the time, reps, man. Like the little ones matter, right? Like I'm talking to Kate in the sauna this morning. She hates it.
Hates the sauna or hates you talking in the sauna?
She hates that I can talk in the sauna and it's baking in there, buddy.
Yeah, yeah.
It gets
mentally
up to 170 plus and then it turns back on.
Yeah.
And it's just firing.
Yep.
And I'm just, and
it's like Diesel Day. If someone tried talking to me at Diesel Day, it's like
I was talking her into Diesel Day. You want to talk about a double negative? Not only was I talking in the sauna, I was talking about Diesel Day.
No.
But I was talking to her about something and she just didn't want to.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, that's exactly why you should. She's like, I'll do it tomorrow. And I go, see that? See that? And I go, understand, at the most small, casual level, we're practicing something. And I said, hey, don't worry about doing it. Just be open-minded to the perspective. And she did, man. She was open-minded. And it's like that rep right there, that's every time you do that's conditioning you to be okay with that. That's going to show up when it matters just as much as it shows up and you habitually do it when it doesn't.
No, it reminds me of a really good phrase that I just love. It goes like, how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Which is not true, right? Like people tend to do the things they want to do way better than the things they don't.
But essentially, yes.
In some aspects,
reps matter, man.
They do. And when you contextualize that statement like that, it's true.
In these lanes,
But if you're too vague with how you do one thing is how you do everything, no, man, how Warren Buffett does his business is not how he does his business.
Exactly.
Sorry. It's just fucking not. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not. But the way you contextualize it, that's true. But, like, people just have to understand, like, you don't show up for yourself when it's a big deal.
Yep.
Like, you don't not train and not prepare and, like, oh, but, hey, if a dangerous situation happens, the adrenaline's going to hit me and I'm going to be fucking G.I. Joe. No, you're fucking not. You're going to be dead. Okay? Like, you got to train, and it's whether it's for, defending our country or just, dude, just your behaviors day in and day out and being the best version of yourself. You don't practice that and show up and attempt that on a big moment. You don't practice on opportunities, buddy. Yep. You practice on your damn self, right? and this is what I'm like opening him to, but like what people have to understand is like, everyone's so open to talking about the circles they should be in nowadays. They're not saying one thing about, you got to earn that fucking circle, man.
Yep.
I don't mean money. I don't mean weird shit. I just mean if you're the smallest person in a circle, the least you could do is just show that you care, and you show that you care by the effort and attention to detail and intention that you have going into it.
Yes, sir.
Right. And like, dude, I told, and you can attest to this. I told this guy, I said, brother, if I fucking messaged that text message to Tosh, I wouldn't even get a response.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't.
True.
Period.
True.
It's like how, but like it seems minute, and I get it. But guess what? The higher and higher you get in circles, and the more proficient level of people you get around, the more those things they're hypervigilant to. Because they know if it's showing up here, you can't pay attention right here to just show that you care and that it matters. It's not going to matter when it needs to matter.
Mm-hmm.
Like folks that are higher level, right? The outliers, they do see those things. You know,
they do.
Like, people just have to understand that, right? But if you haven't gone through if you haven't been forged through your own fire, then you got to get around people that can help you navigate your first one, right? Because I guess my first one was Marine Corps, or I guess boot camp. Sure. And there's some other ones, but then, you get more forged, and then you can, and then you get to a point where like, yeah, man, when I decided to leave the Republic and I'm selling all my shit off, I don't care about title, I don't care about status, I know who the fuck I am. And not only do I know who I am, I'm going to share it publicly just so I can show you guys how to win start to finish. I got it. But that was like a time where like, hey, I'm okay to self-induce this fire because I understand what the pressure does to me. And then as I was doing that, I got a little scared. I got a little nervous. I'm asking Justin when I first get to my first brokerage, hey, what do you think of this? And within 15 fucking minutes, I didn't even like how it came out of my mouth.
Yes,
and
sir.
I knew I cannot be asking another man for a favor if I haven't exerted my entire being yet.
Yep.
And I'm like, man, I'm just scared. I'm just nervous. I'm reaching. Stop it and get back and focus on the work and just see, now that you have an opportunity to work at this brokerage, just see what the leadership and what the work does for you. And it did plenty, right? And then I never needed it. But like, even though I knew I was putting myself into that fire, sometimes you get weak. Sometimes you get, and I was reaching. I was reaching in that moment, right? 2 weeks go by, right? And we're also pregnant with our first kid. And it's like, dude, you want to talk about selling guns for gas money?
Yeah, dude.
And being pregnant?
Yep.
But I'm not saying how cool I am. I'm really trying to get people to hone in on like what a gift that was.
Bro, it's true.
And like you and I know, because we've been through it, I want you to share some of yours as well today. When you see that person on the other side, where they're still on that side of the fence, like the gift it is, and you know how much they're going to be so appreciative that they didn't take a handout if they're willing to do the work. But if they're not willing to do the work, and then that means they're not with us because we decide not to be with them or they decide to go somewhere else, that's okay. Because if you are going to sit around and do nothing until somebody gives it to you, I don't want you a part of the organization. Like, I don't need that energy. I don't need that like, I don't know, man. I need you having each other's backs when it matters and you're displaying that you won't. Right. And it's like, I can't, but it's a gift. You have to embrace it, right?
I get so curious about their mentality about their current situation, because the stories that you're referencing, not one of those people actually have zero fucking dollars.
No.
Are actually thousands of dollars in debt. Like, dude,
right, you're talking to the pattern of people we've seen for the past year.
Yeah.
There's like, about 10 of them.
There's
nobody individual.
And even still, like a lot of people I'm sure listening to this podcast that think that it is a big risk to move brokerages or to change careers or something. And they do have $400,000 of equity in their home, and they do have 3 years worth of emergency reserves. Like, there's so many people out there that are so risk adverse when if you boil it down their situation, you're like, what the fuck? Like, dude, you like, I have no idea like what that is. When a lot of the decisions that we've made, the biggest ones we've made have been when we were literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt or zero fucking dollars, kids, the whole deal.
Right. And you're broke, you're not poor.
Yes. Yeah.
I can't remember who said that. I think Cat Williams said that to a comedian because she was asking for something and he's like, you know why you're not getting any gigs? You're getting this or getting that. He's like, because you're acting desperate. And he's like, you ain't poor, girl. You're broke. And she was kind of confused or whatnot. And I'm paraphrasing, right? But then he told her, you're funny. You got this, you got this, you got this, you got this. Girl, you're just broke right now. You just don't got money, but you're not poor. You got all of these qualities. You just need to start acting like who the fuck you are and stop chasing it. Stop acting desperate, and it comes. And I can't remember who it is, but she's a famous comedian. And, you know, like that's powerful, you know, but I'm curious, Eli, for the audience too, right? I know I talk a ton and I appreciate you letting me have our stage. Everyone's heard my inside now, right? Like Marines and all this hardcore shit and fucking get through it, forge the fire, whatever. You have none of these experiences, but I'm just going to say on this mic, right? Like, buddy, a lot of times, man, you are able to fly. Like if we were Top Gun, remember the movie Top Gun?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Like one of us is Tom Cruise, one of us is Iceman, whatever, right?
Sure. Yeah.
You know how like the whole, you know, like the danger zone, right? Like you can't fly below a certain feet.
Yeah.
Like don't go below 10,000 feet or don't go below.
There's a word for that.
1,000 feet, whatever, right? Like you're flying below.
They call it the floor or something like that.
Whatever, right? Yeah. You're able to fly lower and still you have more equanimity than I do.
That's not what that is.
Like I think so. You just you navigate that and manage your stress with that, I think, better than I do. You know, you might argue that, but dude, we've both been broke. We've both been the same broke. And whether you internalize it and I just don't know about it and you want to hang yourself, I don't fucking know. Right? I hope you don't. Right?
No.
If you die, I'll kill you. Okay.
So,
but it's interesting because you don't have any of the background that I do.
Yeah.
Well, you're still, dude, you're fucking hard, bro. Like you navigate that super well. And I'm curious, even for myself, like, you know, my story is my story. I've gotten mine, how I've gotten mine. Like, what's yours? How do you feel like you've gotten yours, man?
Man, so for those of you guys that don't know,
you were a drummer in a rock band.
I've been in
Half Naked Chili Peppers.
yeah, all that stuff. I mean, I've been in massive amounts of debt multiple times and climbed out. So
maybe I'm just dumb. Maybe it's like, I decided to do business with a guy that like is like he's not as like hyper vigilant as he should be toward real
risk,
problems.
like actual risk and problems. No,
it's like Eli, there's a fire. Yeah. Hey, there's a fire. Eli, you're on fire.
Yeah,
like, fuck. Like,
it'll fizzle out.
So maybe you're better at it than me, or maybe you're just like desensitized and it's all the marijuana you smoke. I don't know.
Well, it's been a couple things. So first of all, I do and always have since I was a young adult, just had a stupid amount of like blind faith of like, hey, I'm going to make it and everything's going to be okay. Right. I'm going to make it. Like that's never been a question, a doubt, not even a fucking 1% sliver of a doubt that I'm ever not going to make it. Okay. Yeah. So that's always been a thing, which has always kind of given me confidence to just figure stuff out.
You also don't need a lot.
What do you mean?
Now that I have a lot of stuff, I like driving cars or whatever, but something we have in common, we just don't need a lot of shit.
Yeah, we don't.
Some people won't, dude, some people won't sell their house or reef or whatever because of like status, not because they have to show their neighbor the status, but even for themselves, like, dude, we've never needed. Yeah, we don't need anything.
No, I'm not worried about that at all. So like a stupid amount of blind faith that I'm going to make it. Everything's going to be okay. We were having that conversation earlier about things just ultimately working in your favor. And that has been something that I don't know where I learned it from, was just that, hey, good things or bad things, I feel like it's working in my favor. You know, in the sense of just something as minor as the classic thing of you can't find your keys for 10 minutes. You're going to be late for the appointment. Well, fuck, it might have saved your life because now you're not in that car accident that you would have been in.
And then that's Will kills you.
But I'd rather die that way. Like, you know, but like I always have that thing going for me. So when bad things happen or things don't work out, okay, I learned something.
But talk about some of the big stuff, right? Like talk about, like when I've talked about the Marine Corps and my transition and just learning how to like, you know, dude, I've gone beyond my own mental capacity before. And like I've been rebuilt. I've had that help, you know, like of having those guys around me. Like what was your big one? Was it losing weight when you became a drummer and then things just started like clicking for you? Like you just started figuring out the reward of what work did, or?
Yeah. So I remember a specific moment. So all comes to fitness for sure. I was overweight as a kid, 200 pounds, like in 8th grade, not a good 200 pounds, not grossly obese.
How old?
Like, however old you are in 8th grade, what, 13 or something like that? 12,
Yeah.
something
You
like
were
that.
200 pounds in 8th grade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, you were legit fat.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And not like,
'Cause you're, what are you, 5'6"?
bro, I've been like 5. I called myself 5'9" the other day, and Megan's like, ew, don't say that. And I was like, ew, what do you mean, ew? So technically, I do think I'm a true 5'10". I'm like 2 inches shorter than a 6 foot guy, right? I'm like a true 5'10".
Yeah. You can't be 5'9" until you're as rich as Joe Rogan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But lost weight playing the drums accidentally as a kid. And then when my literally day one of moving to Colorado, going to Ponderosa High School, the first day I got there, kid invited me to go work out with him. He was a guitar player. We started talking just, music, and then, hey, I'm going to the gym after school. You want to come? I'd never been to like a real gym, let alone with a buddy. I was like, yeah, sure, bug it. Like first day of school, right? Go to his house, and that was the first time I had like pre-workout, and and it was like that friend.
And Explode, buddy.
Yeah, shout out to Dan Sillo. It wasn't Explode,
Hell
but
yeah,
that was the first time when, man, it was almost like that scene in Sandlot when he was like, hey,
hold
man,
the glove like this.
What's that hat you're wearing?
Yeah.
Hey, take it out. Take this shit, right? He was like,
put your glove right here. I'll hit it to you.
Yeah, he was totally that friend.
That's cool.
Man, and I remember, and we just started going every day after school. That just became our thing. And I remember probably about 2 months after that, but no intention of getting in shape. I was just going there and looking at girls and having caffeine and shit. And I went in the mirror and like flexed for the first time and saw my bicep that fucking
had a good pump going.
Wasn't there 2 months ago. And dude, I felt the switch flip in my head, and I realized like I have control. There was this whole like I have control flip switch. And before, dude, I remember one time like I was like crying. My friends were giving me such a hard time about not wearing shorts ever. Like, dudes just pick on dudes for weird shit.
Did you have cankles or what?
I did have cankles.
Oh shit.
I know. And I was like crying at night because I had to wear shorts the next day, or my friends would make fun of me, but I didn't like my cankles and da-da-da-da-da.
And it's like, choose your battle. You want to get made fun of for not wearing shorts? You want to get made fun of for your cankles?
Yep, exactly. So, but
how tall were you in 8th grade?
Probably 5'9". I've been this
height
already. Probably not that tall.
5'9" in 8th grade.
No, but I feel like I've been this tall for
but
a
200
long time.
pounds, like that's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was a chunky kid.
Chunky.
But I
don't use safe words.
No, I was seriously. If I show you pictures, you'd be like,
and listen,
yeah, you look all right.
If anyone's wondering, like, why is Will fucking jabbing young Eli? I'm gonna tell you why I'm jabbing young Eli.
It was
because when Eli and I were first grinding our real estate, this is after about 2 months of being in real estate. I joined up with Eli and we're doing our thing, and I'm just on his team. Through being on his team and him seeing me be proficient or whatever, we decided to just run things together. And we had just had Cash. You had already had baby Eli, Elijah, and I'd had Cash. And Kate, I think Cash was probably 2 months old.
Yep.
Kate's like, her body's recovering, so she's getting ready to get back into shape, so she bought a scale. Right? Yeah, bitch. Yeah, what's up? I don't call you that a lot. Right now, you're a fucking bitch. Right? And and she buys this, so I'm like, I don't know why, but I stood on this thing, and it said like, what, 275, some shit like that, and I'm like, no way. And dude, we were grinding, dude. This was 9 months of pregnancy. Now Cash is 2 months. Like, dude, this year, you and I were literally 8 a.m., 9 a.m. to fucking 11 p.m. I mean, we were going. And stress, cortisol levels, eating junk, just eating on the go. But I was still working out every day, and I was strong. Yep. No wonder why I was strong, because I was heavy, right? But I see that, and I was like, no, that ain't right. Like, it's got to be broke. So I go, Kate, can you come stand on this? Like, does it work for you? She stood on it, and she's like, yeah. Like, that's what I weigh at the doctor's. And I'm like, all right, maybe like the spring gives out after a certain weight,
Which they do.
So I call Eli. I go, hey, dude, do scales break? And you're like, well, I mean, everything breaks. So like, yeah, I was like, and you're like, why? I was like, well, dude, when I stand on it, I'm like 270 or something. And I think it was 275.
Yeah.
But I said 270. I'm already scaling back, right? I'm already rounding down. And I hear just this laugh out of Eli's fucking face on the phone. And he's laughing. I'm like, bro, and you're like, dude, you weigh every bit of 270, bro. And I was like, what? And you're like, yeah, bro. And you're like, hey, it's cool. It's okay. Like,
and it wasn't from a fat perspective. I swear it wasn't from that. It was, you're actually big as fuck.
No, you're like, no, I just love my fat friend. Yeah.
No, it was not that.
But first of all, your friend's being honest to you. That's important. Secondly, it was like, yeah, dude, you're just a big fucking guy. But yeah, like, hey man, if you want to, if you want to like change it, let's do it. You know, cool.
Yeah.
And like, so if everyone's wondering why I'm poking junior high Eli, it's because he poked me like 5 years ago. Now I'm down to 230.
I did.
But interesting, right? Like, of just certain paradigm shifts. And that's cool that you got
control, though, dude. Like the whole theme, and I think about this frequently. Like I remember looking in the mirror. I remember that fucking day, the house we were at, and realizing that I have control over my life was completely fucking like game changing to me. And it started with fitness, and then that transferred over to business. And then I just realized that, hey, there's not this mystery. There's not some fucking wizard behind the thing making things work for some people and things not work for some people by pulling these levers.
Yeah.
It's like if you do something long enough, consistently enough, if you do something consistently over a long enough period of time, you will get results, period. Shut the fuck up. That's how the world works. 1 + 1 = 2, right?
Failures are along the way.
Of course.
As you reach your capacity for knowing what you know.
Which is learning.
Yeah. You fail at something like, oh, let's not do that again.
Yeah, it's learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not do that again. You know, like, but my thing, like, and what I want everybody to think about today before we let you guys go is like, just figure out your own narrative or what you've been telling yourself and figure out like, why am I trying to mitigate or relieve or hand over discomfort?
It's the biggest tool you have.
Yeah.
Dude, imagine trying to go to the gym and you stop every time it's about to burn.
They won't.
And you stop every time it's about to hit failure. And you just do the light weights always. And the second
and that's
and
right
you hang
when
it
you're
up.
getting into progress. So when you guys are in your business or whatever it may be, like, don't be worried about status, titles, none of that. Like, do what you have to do in order to do what you want to do. But you got to start at like the first step is just being conscious of it and where you're doing it. And then once you identify with that, you got to start leaning into taking action toward how can I mitigate that.
And if you are looking for going more literal, right? Not so ideological here. Just people in business, right? If you're coming to someone and asking about the opportunities that they provide at their business, at their company, at their brokerage, if you're coming to someone and you're seeking advice and they're presenting you with some alternative options to what you currently have, don't be asking for fucking money. That's not how it works. You know, when you get financial incentives is when you're building something so great and so amazing and you're sitting at your desk one day running your amazing fucking valuable company and your phone rings and someone's like, hey, we see what you're doing. We would love to have you over here. Here's what we're willing to do to get you over here because we think
you've already
would
built
bring
something.
this. Fuck yeah. That's how incentives work.
Yeah, but you can't go from, you just can't, right? You just,
like if you're going to somebody and asking, like presenting, you don't have the leverage there, dude.
No.
Right? You know, like Will said, like there's evidence for days that Will and Eli are here and we're doing this and we've built people like this.
Yep.
There's so much evidence, right? Of what we've done and are going to continue to do. There's no evidence of anything.
And just pay attention when you're talking, especially in like, listen, if you're talking to me, pay attention.
Yeah.
Because I talk a lot, but what
texting.
people don't understand, except for like Eli or people that are close to me, like I'm saying something for a reason. I'm showing whether I'm showing you anger, frustration, poise, whatever I'm showing you, it's for a reason.
Yep.
And I'm just looking at the reactions or the rebuttals that I get from you, and I'm analyzing who you are as a person all the fucking time. I know where you're at. I might know you better than you know yourself because you're still deciding to turn the other cheek toward the self-reflection of what you're actually being right now.
Yep.
Right? You've got this version of yourself in your head versus the version of yourself that other people see. And like, look, man, humbly, other people that have been there, that have done it, they see it. Okay? And it's like, hey, it's okay. Dude, just be that guy, but then take the opportunity. Don't try to flip the script and think that you are the opportunity, right? Like there's just some things there, but you're getting in your own way.
Yep.
Right? Getting in your own way. But with that being said, we got to eat. I got to pee. I got to go potty.
Let's do it.
That's my, by the way, side note, people always laugh when I say that. I'm like, dude, I'm a dad.
bro.
I say potty because I say potty at home.
I say that in professional settings, like frequently,
Yeah, me
more
too.
often than I probably should.
I'm gonna go take a piss. Like, I'm like,
No, that's gross.
no, you're out of here.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Enjoy your Friday. We love you guys.
All right. Day $1.00.
Out of here.
I'ma sip it on